do a special show. So I'm back outside. Anywhere I go, every stage I touch, I'm gonna feel me.
A Michigan inmate has been awarded $100 million in his civil lawsuit against infamous music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. The judgment was issued to 51-year-old Derrick Cardello-Smith yesterday. He accuses Diddy of drugging and assaulting him.
So I took it because I had sat one down in the other room, and then I drank some more, and I stayed sitting there and began getting drowsy and started to pass out. And then Sean Combs said to me, "I added a little something to it for you. I will get that from you anyway, one way or another." I then passed out. Cardello-Smith claims that when he woke up, Combs admitted he assaulted him when he was unconscious.
Oh gosh! Diddy, the music mogul we all thought was untouchable, just took a massive L in court. We're talking a 100 million L, y'all. And get this, it's all because he decided to pull a no-show at his hearing. Like, seriously? Who skips a court date when there's that much money on the line? So here's the tea. A man named Derrick Cardello-Smith slapped Diddy with a lawsuit in Michigan accusing him of some seriously heavy stuff. We're talking grape allegations, besties. And instead of facing the music, Diddy apparently thought he could just ghost the whole situation. Spoiler alert, it didn't work out for him, but hold on to your wigs because it gets even messier. Instead of laying low after this massive judgment, Diddy's out here turning up the heat. Word on the street is that he actually showed up at Smith's prison to offer him hush money. I mean, the audacity. And it doesn't stop there. Now that Smith's sitting on this giant judgment, Diddy's allegedly using his connections to get back at him. We're hearing that Smith is living in fear, scared for his safety after Diddy supposedly sent his people to handle things in prison. I don't know about you, but that sounds like some straight-up mob boss behavior to me. Now let's take a step back and think about this for a second. If Diddy's willing to lose $100 million just to avoid showing up in court, what else could he be hiding? Because from where I'm sitting, this looks like it's just the tip of the iceberg.
Happy Friday, happy Friday. Welcome to Club Love. Friday edition. I'm back outside, so I want to touch y'all every Friday.
All right, besties, let's dive deeper into this Diddy drama. Back in August, Derrick Cardello-Smith, who's currently behind bars, managed to pull off something pretty major. He got a judge to freeze Diddy's properties and block his team from making any real estate moves. This is huge because it looks like Diddy's been scrambling to cover his tracks, but the walls are closing in fast. Now, here's where it gets even juicier. Diddy and his legal team actually had the nerve to visit Cardello-Smith in jail. And get this, they tried to slide him a cool $2.3 million settlement. Why? Well, according to Cardello-Smith, Diddy spiked his drink and graped him at one of his infamous parties back in 1997. I know, it's a lot to take in. But wait, there's more. This little prison meetup? Yeah, it was recorded, and Diddy's name is right there in the visitor sign-in logs. Talk about leaving a paper trail. Now, the attorneys who were there are saying that Diddy pretty much confessed to everything. And even though attorney-client privilege usually keeps these convos under wraps, that recording is now being used as evidence. Yikes.
It is based on two actions taken by Mr. Combs himself, directly with me here. We did a live one-on-one visit in our prison visiting room. There's two meetings within the past 2 weeks with Mr. Combs on one meeting and then a financial advisor on the other meeting on Mr. Combs' behalf. And he stated that he would make me an offer to end the case and what happened to me because of other things that he stated he has going on in his life that require his money right now, and he wants to sell everything off. And he made me a financial offer of $2.3 million to allow what happened to me to go away. And he stated that he's going to be selling his property. And under the 2005 California Civil Code 2881-2885, the creation of liens, which allows out-of-state justices and orders to cause a stop of any title transfer, property transfers in Los Angeles or any other place that he has property. He stated that he wouldn't be able to proceed with that sale. And he did it the day after I served him the suit. And he also said that he won't be filing an answer to the complaint. He said, you can find me in default or whatever. He has a better chance with default than he would with having a restraining order stop. And I said, so you want to hide your money and stop from being quite possibly paid to me if I'm given the benefit of a judgment in my favor for what you've done to me. And he pretty much said, yeah, he goes, you know how we get down.
Can we just take a moment to talk about how absolutely bonkers this whole situation is? After all the dirt that's come out about Diddy, he actually had the audacity to show up at the prison and meet with Cardello-Smith in person. Like, what was he thinking? Diddy's drowning in lawsuits with some seriously heavy accusations hanging over his head, and yet he rolls up to the prison like it's just another day at the office. And get this, during the meeting, Diddy allegedly hit Cardello-Smith with the line, "You know how we get down." I mean, the confidence is almost impressive if it wasn't so problematic. It's clear that Diddy thought he could just throw some money at the situation, $2.3 million to be exact, and walk away with all this swept under the rug. This whole mess just exposes how Diddy's been able to get away with so much over the years, because honestly, who else would be bold enough to pull a stunt like this right in the middle of all the heat he's facing? But this time, it's looking real bad for Diddy. I don't think even all his money can save him from what's coming next. Cardello-Smith went to a Michigan judge and asked for a restraining order to block Diddy from selling off any of his properties that were meant for their settlement. And guess what? The judge actually granted his request.
If he's allowed to sell his property that he has in LA and the properties that are in his name being used and held by other people in Michigan, then it will cause me harm because I can be tied directly to those properties through loans and through other areas of investment that I did when I was out there and while in prison, through money that I've sent. And if he's allowed to go through with any of the sales, I won't be able to recoup any of my monies or anything from him as a result of any possible judgment in this action, if he's allowed to proceed with it. And an injunction or a restraining order would help ensure that he's not manipulating and selling the property to avoid his responsibility in these matters here. That's what a temporary restraining order would do. It would prevent that from happening. Because it's a very serious matter. It involves a lot of money. And him selling this would help him avoid his liability.
But Cardello-Smith didn't stop there. Oh no, he went after a default judgment against Diddy, claiming that the music mogul didn't even bother to respond to the legal summons. And besties, you won't believe this, Cardello-Smith just landed another huge win in court. He actually scored that $100 million judgment against Diddy.
Everything that you're looking at, they're all tied in together. Every part, as crazy as this seems, as outrageous as it seems, it all ties in. Every bit of it, every facet.
A man who's been in and out of prison since the 90s and is known in the Michigan criminal justice system for filing multiple lawsuits and appeals has a new target in his sights, Sean Diddy Combs. As the rapper faces legal attacks from all sides, what does this latest information mean for the disgraced rapper? Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Today we're going to introduce you to quite a character, Derrick Lee Cardello-Smith. He is an inmate at Ernest C. Brooks Correctional Facility out in Michigan, and this week he was granted a temporary restraining order against rapper Sean Diddy Combs, who has been in the news quite a lot.
Let's break this down because it's a lot to take in. According to the Detroit Metro Times and official court documents, this massive award was handed down by a Lenawee County Circuit Court judge on Monday. The judge had already granted a temporary restraining order against Diddy earlier, and now things are escalating faster than a Kardashian-Jenner feud. So here's what went down. Diddy didn't even bother to show up for the September 9th virtual hearing. And because he didn't respond or make an appearance, the court hit him with a default judgment. That basically means that because Diddy didn't defend himself in the case, Cardello-Smith automatically won the $100 million claim against him. Talk about a costly no-show. According to the latest reports, this could end up being one of the largest payouts ever awarded to someone who's both a non-attorney and currently locked up. It's like winning the lottery, but with way more drama attached. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty of what Cardello-Smith is actually alleging went down at one of Diddy's parties back in the 90s. And trust me, it's as wild and disturbing as you'd expect from the kind of stories we've been hearing about Diddy lately. According to the complaint, Cardello-Smith lays out some pretty disturbing claims about what happened back in '97. At the time, he says he was working as a bartender at a restaurant in Detroit when he got the invite of a lifetime, a party at a local Holiday Inn where Diddy was hanging out. And let's be real, back in the late 90s, getting invited to a Diddy party was like scoring golden tickets to Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. Everyone wanted a chance to party with Diddy. He was at the top of his game, living that flashy lifestyle, surrounded by celebs, and known for throwing the wildest parties. Naturally, Cardello-Smith decided to go and see what all the hype was about. According to his account, the night started off pretty normal for a Diddy party. There was drinking, music, and women everywhere. Cardello-Smith says he was having a good time, just chilling with Diddy, some security guys, and a bunch of ladies. He even mentioned that Diddy seemed surprisingly down to earth, like just a regular guy who knew how to party. Cardello-Smith recalls thinking Diddy was cool and described him as being kind and decent. Definitely not what you'd expect from someone with that much money and power. However, the fun didn't last. Things quickly took a very dark turn, and this is where it gets disturbing. According to Cardello-Smith, after a few rounds of drinks, he started to feel like something was off. He claims that his drink had been spiked without his knowledge, and from there, things escalated rapidly. What started as an exciting night of partying with one of the biggest names in the music industry allegedly turned into a nightmare. Cardello-Smith says that after his drink was tampered with, he was taken advantage of in a way that he could have never expected, and by none other than Diddy himself. According to Smith's allegations, he ended up getting involved in group intercourse with some women and Diddy. But at some point during all of this, Diddy started showing interest in him. That was a hard no for Smith. The minute he realized Diddy's attention had shifted, he immediately bounced and went to sit down on the couch, trying to distance himself from the situation. But it didn't stop there. According to Smith, that's when Diddy offered him another drink. Smith trusted it was just another drink to keep the party going. But after taking a few sips, things quickly spiraled out of control. Smith claims that shortly after drinking it, he started feeling weird, describing it as feeling drowsy and disoriented. That's when he realized something wasn't right.
I then went to get another drink, and Sean asked me if I needed something else. I said no, and he said, "Here, drink this one." And I thought it was another glass of Jim Beam, so I took it because I had sat one down in the other room, and then I drank some more, and I stayed sitting there and began getting drowsy and started to pass out. And then Sean Combs said to me, "I added a little something to it for you. I will get that from you anyway, one way or another." I then passed out.
As Smith started to pass out, Diddy allegedly leaned in and dropped a bomb. According to Smith, Diddy told him straight up that he had added a little something to the drink, like he actually admitted to spiking it. And it gets worse. Smith says Diddy then made a chilling comment, telling him that he'd get what he wanted one way or another. Cardello-Smith claims that after drinking what Diddy gave him, he blacked out and woke up to an absolute nightmare. He says he woke up only to hear Diddy straight up admitting that he had graped him while he was passed out. According to Smith, after that terrifying realization, he left immediately and never looked back. He says he wanted nothing more to do with Diddy or anyone in that circle. Smith says he did file a police report after the incident, but at the time, he couldn't bring himself to fully talk about what had happened. The trauma was too much to deal with, and like many victims of SA, he just wasn't ready to face it head-on. Smith revealed that it wasn't until years later, while he was in prison, that he truly began to understand the full scope of what had happened to him. He says therapy while incarcerated helped him realize that he was, in fact, a victim of grape. But wait, it gets even messier. Smith isn't just accusing Diddy of the act itself. He's also claiming there was a massive cover-up. He says that Diddy paid off police officers in both Detroit and Monroe to keep the entire incident buried. According to Smith, the cops took the money and ran with it, ensuring that this story stayed out of the spotlight for years. And honestly, it seems like they did a pretty good job because we're only hearing about all this now.
He goes on to claim that Combs paid off police to keep the whole thing quiet. Quote, "The defendant paid Detroit and Monroe police officers to keep it hidden, and they hid it very, very well, and have kept it hidden for many decades, but not anymore."
Fast forward to today, and Cardello-Smith actually got what he wanted. Diddy's now on the hook for a massive $100 million payout. Now, so far, the only public figure to speak out on this whole situation with Derrick Cardello-Smith is Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal. Gene brought up the case during his latest appearance on The Art of Dialogue, but the way he turned it into a joke and laughed about what went down with Cardello-Smith back in '97 didn't sit well with fans.
Derrick Lee claims that in 1997, Diddy raped him. I know it. He raped a grown-ass man. Yo, he was a bartender. He said, and I don't want people to think that I think that's funny, but the shit is funny. He said it's sad. He said that he was invited to a party and it was girls there, it was guys there. Things got freaky. You understand? He's a bartender. he said that he was drinking Jim Beam, and Diddy brought him a drink over, and then Diddy told him, I put a little something extra in there, and he said, yo, I'm sorry, man. He said he woke up butt naked with his thong gone. No, he didn't say. No, he didn't say that, bro. But he said he woke up and Diddy told him he had him. He said he went. He said he went. He filed a report, but they threw it up under the cops swept it up under the rug and everything like that. So he was suing Diddy and everything like that. So he said that Diddy came to the jail and said that, hey, I'll give you $2.3 million or something like that, or 23. I don't know if it's 2.3 or $23 million to make this go away. We'll leave this alone the whole 9 yards. Just like I just said, he's trying to pay people off to make things go away, for them to drop their suits and everything like that. You know what I mean? And if he does that, they civil suit. Drop them, make them go away. What would it take? So this particular dude said that Diddy was trying to sell properties and sell things and stop him from getting his money, and I didn't understand that. But the judge found some validity in what he was saying and said, yo, I'm gonna give you a 90-day restraining order against him from selling anything until you get all your paperwork in correct, because Diddy was served in the whole 9 yards. And as it was said that Diddy and his representative did come to the jail. So if the guy didn't have no lawsuit, if the guy wasn't, if his stuff wasn't truthful, why would they entertain it? The judge entertain it, Diddy lawyers them entertain it, and Diddy entertain it.
Fans wasted no time calling out Gene for laughing about a man being S.A.ed, and some even suggested that his reaction shows exactly why he was hired by Diddy in the first place and why he stuck around for so long. But here's where it gets even crazier. Now that Derrick Cardello-Smith has landed this huge win against Diddy, it seems like Diddy's ego just can't handle it. Rumor has it he's allegedly trying to threaten Derrick through people he knows in prison. I mean, talk about not knowing when to quit. As expected, Diddy and his legal team are once again denying any wrongdoing on Diddy's part, just like they've done with all the other lawsuits he's dealing with. In a statement to TMZ, Diddy's lawyers dismissed Derrick Cardello-Smith's claims, pointing out Smith's own criminal history and even claiming that Diddy doesn't even know who he is. The statement read, "This man is a convicted felon and predator who has been sentenced on 14 counts of SA and kidnapping over the last 26 years. His resume now includes committing fraud on the court from prison, as Mr. Combs has never heard of him, let alone been served with any lawsuit. Mr. Combs looks forward to having this judgment swiftly dismissed." But here's the thing. Two things can be true at once. Derrick Cardello-Smith might have a criminal past and be all the things Diddy's attorneys say, but at the same time, he could be one of Diddy's victims. As for Diddy's lawyer claiming that Diddy doesn't even know who Cardello-Smith is, that's hard to take seriously, especially when you remember Diddy's legal team was caught dismissing Cassie's claims, and we all saw how that played out.
The surveillance footage that was captured inside of a Los Angeles hotel in 2016 allegedly shows Combs then-girlfriend Cassie Ventura in a hallway. A now settled lawsuit filed by Ventura claimed that she was trying to leave the hotel after a drunken Combs punched her. The video appears to show Combs chasing her down the hall, throwing her to the ground, and then repeating.
Also, if Diddy truly never heard of Cardello-Smith, why was he visiting him in prison right after Smith filed his complaint? So we're supposed to believe Diddy just randomly decided to visit this inmate who he never heard of just to chat with him. Okay, sure. But wait, there's more. Sources are now saying that Diddy has allegedly got people in prison trying to intimidate and threaten Cardello-Smith, and apparently Smith is now terrified for his safety after his big legal win against Diddy. As for fans, they're saying if Diddy didn't even want to show up in court for this case, imagine imagine what he's actually hiding. By the way, the latest bombshells from Cardello-Smith's lawsuit have reignited those old rumors about Diddy and his supposedly creepy behavior toward young male artists like Usher and Justin Bieber. We all remember that both Justin and Usher had sleepovers at Diddy's place. So if Diddy really did what he's accused of doing to Cardello-Smith, it definitely sounds like this wasn't just a one-time thing. It's starting to look like it was something far more calculated and premeditated. This makes you wonder how many more victims might be out there, whether they're celebrities or regular folks. And if Diddy's trial ever hits the TV screens, it's going to be one for the history books, no doubt. One fan said, contacting the man in jail and offering $2 million to drop the lawsuit screams guilty. Then Diddy threatened him. Diddy hasn't changed even after the exposure from Cassie. And another person added, this can't be real. Nobody with any sense would ever do this on purpose. Nobody is okay with losing this much money unless they are running from something. But how do you feel about all this? Do you think Diddy did something even worse than Cardello-Smith alleges, and that's why he won't fight this lawsuit? Drop your thoughts in the comments, besties. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on the latest tea. Until next time, stay sassy and stay informed.